Good morning, beautiful people of planet Earth. Welcome to Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It is the 3rd of August 2024 and the time is 11:37 a.m. As you can see, I look a bit haggard around the gills, but that's because I went dancing and I had a wonderful night last night. No one harassed me. No one was hostile or passive aggressive or creepy as fuck. We just had fun. Lots of gorgeous fun. And it was a wonderful night. And I'm utterly exhausted because I'm adjusting to a new CPAP device, which I received on Wednesday. Yes, it was Wednesday. So I've had Wednesday night, Thursday night, 3 nights with it. But I've only had 4.5 hours sleep last night because my body is supercharged from the wild dance, and also my lungs are a little bit feathery and papery like paper bark because adjusting to a new machine means I've got all the plastic chemical off-gassing from that, which caused congestion deep in my lungs for 2 weeks with the first machine that was on loan. And now I have it again with the new machine. I knew it was going to knock me around because it took me a while to adjust to the first one. But this machine is mine, and once I adjust, hopefully in, another 9 days' time, maybe earlier if I'm lucky, I won't have this constant in my lungs, and hopefully I can start fucking healing. Am I right? I know what my body is like. My body is very treatment resistant. It resists all medications. It resists any interference in its own autonomy. It resists even my own mind and spirit. Sometimes it just frankly does what it wants, whatever. If I absolutely let my body do completely what she wanted, whatever, at all the time, I'd probably be a nymphomaniac on acid or something weird like that. But I don't, because I keep things very carefully tacked down and contained. I'm joking about being a nymphomaniac, by the way. I'm too asexual celibate to ever be a nymphomaniac. But it's just my weird, quirky sense of humour and the irony of how, since the last the last surgery in 2019, how my body has fought hard in the last 5 years to consistently choose life l'chaim and to just be indomitable and intrepid and a tad berserker at times and just keep going no matter what, no matter who, no matter how fraught things are. Even when I'm quite considerably unwell, I have fought through. It's why I call myself a warrior goddess, although I won't offend the gods by claiming to be a goddess in any real sense. But I guess they understand what I mean when I say that, because even the gods wring their hands and weep sometimes at how completely determined to thrive I have been, with harm to none and competition with none. So it is done and still in a process of being achieved. So I can hear the rasp even in my voice. So by the gods, I lived fully and vibrantly last night, and I was immersed in so much love that it was astonishing. And but you're going to hear about it because I wrote about it upon waking up this morning, so I don't want to be repetitive. But astonishing and miraculous and amazing and frankly wonderful was last night. In fact, the last few weekends have been absolutely astonishing and wonderful, and it shows me that my life is finally awesome, how I've always dreamed of it being surrounded in so much big love, even though I don't have a partner of my own. you know, to hold in my arms and lie in bed next to and watch TV, and even, you know, I guess the mundanity of being in a partnership where you just have each other's backs, but you also have to put up with each other's quirky habits. Well, I don't have to worry about that because I'm a lone ranger living my best life. But however, I'm so immersed and surrounded by so much love that I'm astonished and humbled and grateful. And it's just, yeah, I feel kind of high from it all, quite frankly. It's probably adrenaline extremis from dancing wildly for hours and then lack of sleep. So if I sound a bit weird during my readings, or if I get a bit flubbery, or if I drift off, or if I even fall off my chair, off my perch and faint, don't mind me. I'm living my best life. So here we go. Babies, we continue on with today's readings of even date, being the 3rd of August 2024, and it's titled My Progenitor's Wedding Anniversary, Haunting from Cradle to Grave. Well, we've shucked off those two albatrosses. They keep trying to circle and reattach, but I consistently shuck them the fuck off. Am I right? But unfortunately, you know, I carry their DNA and their blood and their intergenerational trauma, and you know, they're in my skin and my bones no matter how hard I try to obfuscate or avoid or deny. I can't. They're still my parents, even though they were fucking assholes. Forever and a day till I leave this mortal body, those people are still what created me in their moment of passion, however that works. Oh, now we've got trouble with my computer. Thanks, Charley. I don't know what happened there, but we'll try this. No, that won't work. We'll try this. F7 till we die. It was all perfectly set up, but then Charlie's triggered something. I don't know what. I don't know what happened there. Oh, it's that bloody magnifying thing. How do I navigate to that? How do I resolve that? I can't remember, quite frankly. Oh, dear goddess. Escape? We'll try escape. Escape. We'll try. What else can we try? Oh, it was all perfect too. I'm so annoyed. So annoyed. Oh, there it is, up the top. Why does that keep happening to me? Why, Delilah? I don't know. Are we back in? Are we back in the game of life, Charlie? Are we on the right story? Because sometimes it really flippity gibbets and throws me all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. Row. No, we're still on the right date. Okay, we're just going to get to the beginning, because it's the beginning. It's the beginning of something. I don't know what. I don't know why I don't have a slide bar. Where's the slide bar? I hate this computer. Anyway, it was going so well. It was going so very well. So very, very well. Maybe try. Haha. Haha. I think I don't know what I did, but we've done something. All right, look, here goes. Let's just go for it, babies. Like the wild dance. We just gotta throw yourself into it sometimes. 3rd of August, 2024, 8:36 a.m. Awake after only 4.5 hours sleep. I had an awesome night last night. Everyone in the club was joyous. I had a lovely couple come to dance beside me. They said they come up from Sydney regularly as they love Ramjet so much and they love Brisbane so much. I just stared at them. Well, my experience of Brisbane, 36 years, has not been all that nice, quite frankly. But I mustn't let my bad experiences colour someone else's worldview. So I just smiled and nodded politely and mentally backed into a dark abyss somewhere far, far away, in a different galaxy, where everything's sweet all of the time. Anyway, the husband introduced himself as Essie. He looked Middle Eastern. I did my usual thing because I'm well read. I'm actually very well read and I read about all kinds of cultures. So I freaked him out by saying, "Oh, so your real name is Ishmael? What are you doing drinking alcohol in nightclubs as a Muslim?" He looked astonished. "How did you know that?" But he did not take offence, fortunately for me. He was a very nice man. I replied laughingly, "Because I am a Jew, and you should be asking me the same question as to why I am drinking and dancing wildly on a Friday night, the holy Shabbat, every weekend. Sinners, repent." We both laughed and high-fived each other. I told him I am a Jewish witch. Somehow, yes, Charley, that gave him permission to be even more ebullient and vibrant. So we three, he and his partner and I, all went completely off. He was a lovely man and his partner was a lovely woman too, by the way. Very wild and carefree and a gentleman. His partner, named Usher, gave me a drink. Very kind. Later, a couple of very sweet, very young men came to sit beside me. They introduced themselves. Next thing I know, I had one tucked under each arm. I was telling them that they were in grave danger. I actually said danger, D-A-N-G-E-R. Do you understand, young man? I was just joking and stirring them up a bit. It was hilarious. I told them that they were in grave danger if they activated my ancient, long-smothered last hormone. They were young enough to be my grandsons that my daughters never gifted me, lol. Well, through no fault of their own, or the choices they made, or the dead shits they got involved with, like fate, it's kismet, it's destiny, it is what it is, am I right? But every now and then, Mama T arcs up about the fact that I never got to be a grandmother, since that was my sole goal in life, was to one day be a wise old grandmother, holding my progeny in my arms, my future progeny. So every now and then I get enraged about it, but it's no one's fault. But anyway, I'm looking at these young people that are drawn to me lately, and it's like they're all my babies that I never had, or that my daughters never had, all flocking to me, the wise old crone, feeding off my wise old cantankerous, sometimes bitter, sometimes amusing, wild energy. It's sweet. It's a bit sweet. The two lads played along majestically, both perfect gentlemen, both named Tom. One said to me, "You are a celebrity." I said, "Oh no, honey. I'm just a little old lady who goes dancing every Friday night." He replied, "You are too humble." Weren't they sweet? They were really sweet. Astonishing. Me? A celebrity? What are the young ones seeing in my energy meridians? to even think that. I had another very beautiful young woman dance with me. Her male friends called out for zombie earlier in the evening, like in the first set when it's way too early for zombie. Their eyes twinkling with mischief. I turned back to them and yelled, "Too early in the night for that, my lovelies." But later they called again. So when Ramjet played Zombie, my friend Scott was playing bass, substituting for Juddy. We all went completely off. Scott had Juddy on FaceTime, so we all got to tell him we loved him and blow him kisses. My little darling, my sweetheart. You're all my little darlings and my little sweethearts. Platonic sweethearts. Oh, poor Mama T. Well, anyway, I'm happy with the love I'm surrounded and immersed in, and also, giving out. I'm very happy with it at the moment. This is how life should have always been for me. Loving, kind, supported, if necessary, under extreme circumstances, protected. I never had that before in my life, people of Earth. Seriously. I mean, I had glimpses of it, or brief frotterings of it, but nothing like the intense, immersive, experiential awareness that I seem to be undergoing at the last 12 months since my beautiful Bobo died. May he rest in peace. I continue writing. There was great power in that moment, in that song, like a crackling in the field. I felt it in every fibre of my being. The gorgeous young blonde woman filmed the two of us dancing, probably to put on her own Instagram or YouTube or to show her friends. The crazy old lady in the club, am I right? But she was loving me and I was loving her, and I thought it was gorgeous actually. But I wrote awkward, as I always look like a crazed berserker when I dance to that particular song, as it's my war cry. But I indulged her. She took to gently tapping me on my back when she wanted to dance with me. I was facing the band as per usual. We danced to Flowers by Miley Cyrus with great passion and intensity too. I told her that her male friends were boring as they were not dancing, but just kinda voyeuristically watching the two of us. She agreed with me. When they left, she thanked me for dancing with her. I could see her reluctance to leave my energy. We'd had such a wonderful time together, that young lass and I. I felt extremely loved, valued and seen last night. Extremely. The staff fussed over me too. It was gorgeous. Especially as in the last moment before leaving the house, I had had a strange hesitancy about going out last night. Anxiety almost smothering my will to thrive and drive turkey my hide. I even took a Valium, as I simply cannot allow my nervous system to defeat me. And I was already dressed and made up and had my boots and my stocking, my tights on, and I was all ready. And then something shifted and said, "Don't go tonight." And I just said, "But I always go. I always go. Unless I have diarrhea or some contagious illness, I always go." What's this negativity that just suddenly slammed me out of the blue? So I said to myself, I'm ready to go, but I have the freedom, free will to change my mind if I choose to. But I decided that I would go, and if it got weird or there was too much passive aggression or hostility like I've experienced in the last 8 weeks or so, on and off, that I would just go home early, because I don't have to stay in an environment when it gets icky. And here it was, the most powerful, magical night, up there with the top 10, like the beautiful, powerful, magical night we had on Thursday, the 25th of July, when we had the Judd Fest in honour of Juddy, when all the musician friends came together and we put on a special party for him. That was quite wonderful. That was a wonderful night too. So, Mama T has to ride through her own anxiety and fears and doubts sometimes. She has to quell them. And this time, unusually, I very rarely do that. Had to knock it down even with Valium. So that was a bit intense. But I handled everything well and I enjoyed myself and had a lovely, lovely night. So here I continue writing, especially as in the last moment, I already read that, blah, blah, blah. Took a Valium as I cannot allow my nervous system to defeat me. Right, back in the room, people of Earth. I also put out prayers for protection and gifted Papa Legba on my altar a healthy tot of Jack Daniels. He actually had spiced rum, but it had gone all congealed in the bottom of the cup, and it even had little bits of mildew growing on it. It was like, that's not a worthy offering to a voodoo god. No, 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 we cannot have that. So I went out and I washed the little cup. I'll show it to you. It's a little gold cup. It's just a random odd cup that belonged to my mother, actually. I think it used to have a saucer that went with it. It's beautiful. 24 karat gold, I don't know, painted or whatever. And a little, even a little rim. And there's his rum. It'll evaporate. He drinks it. He drinks it. It's evaporation, but he drinks it. Last weekend I gifted him a cigar. He really likes that. But, I might have to actually smoke it for him though, because so he can get the experience. But I don't know about that, if I'm supposed to do that actually. I'm not a full-blown voodoo practitioner, so I don't want to make mistakes and upset the gods. So I just have this little, kind of peace offerings and working relationship and building relationship with him of trust. And by the gods, he showed me that I can trust in his protection and wisdom and gigantic universal love a few weekends ago when I was protected in the club. So, however it works, am I right? Sometimes it's my own imagination. Sometimes it is supernatural, and I never question that. Just go with the flow. Whatever happens, whatever the gods present to me. Go with the flow with great respect and honour and humility and gratitude. Anyway, here I write, I gave him a healthy tot of Jack Daniels, which you could see, covering all bases, both metaphysical and physical, laughing my ass off. And I didn't ask him, I didn't make any petitioning prayers, I didn't ask him for anything at all. I just said, here you go, Papa, here's your Jack Daniels, hope you enjoy that. And I didn't make any, didn't ask for anything. Isn't that wonderful that that I didn't pray for or beg or petition or call upon, you know, and for anything, and yet I had the most gorgeous night. Sometimes you've just got to receive, am I right? The Kabbalistic version of receiving. What's meant to be yours always comes to you, sometimes in unusual, quirky, astonishing ways, but always works. Oh, Charlie, don't poo on the laptop. Naughty. Poopykins. Some nights when I get that intense anxiety, it is either a warning to be on high alert, to expect trouble, or to expect the unexpected, or a herald that I'm about to undergo a life-altering but wonderful event. So I almost always push myself through, like a baby being birthed in transition. Puff, puff, blow. I think it should say pant, pant, blow. Yes, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So, no, how did it work? It's so long since I've given birth to babies. Yes, it is like, it's like holding back and releasing, holding back and releasing. I had to do that for 2 hours when I was birthing Crystal, because she was lying transverse sideways across my belly, and they had to turn her 3 times, bejesus. Then I ended up having a forceps delivery, equally awful, and we won't even go there, it's too gross. It's too gross and gory, but not nice. And being in full labour, where every cell in your body is wanting to push this child out of you, but you're not allowed to because it's dangerous, because the baby's not positioned right. So having to pant, pant, blow for nearly 2 hours was... And also the transition period in a woman's labour is an altered state, actually. We're actually not really, like, your body's just taking over and you're not. It's a weird state to be in. It's a very weird mental state. I don't think I ever completely came back from it, to tell you the truth, with all my trauma issues since childhood. That was just one more fucking thing I never quite fully recovered from, I don't think. But anyway, I only had 2 children, thankfully. I wanted more, but thankfully I only had the 2. And it wasn't an easy ride raising them on my own after my separation and divorce. So that's why I say thankfully, by the gods. Anyway, this morning my lungs feel kind of papery, like they are just layers of fucking sickly sweet baklava, puffed up by the CPAP device, but feathery. And it's weird because I just had a long conversation on the phone to my friend Lynn, and my voice was perfectly fine, but now it's gone to hell. What's with that? Don't know. Just keep going, Tanya Aarons. Just keep going. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Gifted by the gods. But I'm glad I got to do my tribal shamanic mosh, my wild dance, surrounded by so many gorgeous, kind, respectful people last night. Amazing. Last night was life-altering indeed. Kind of made a fool of myself too, as I do. But it's okay. It needed to be said. So much intensely spiritual and romantic, albeit platonic, love being flowed. So magical. It really was a magical night. It really was. Gratitude to the higher realms, to God and all manifestations, to Papa Legba and Azuli, the goddess of love. Gratitude to the Fae, and gratitude to Mama T's indomitable, intrepid, determined willpower too. Because if I'd given up last night and crawled back into bed and not gone out, would have missed out on all that gorgeousness. Amazing. Oh no, I already read that. Sorry. This is me on 4 hours sleep, 4.5 hours sleep. Let there be many, many more wondrous nights like that. Power to the people. Indeed. Thinking about it, Mama T could do with some delicious baklava for breakfast. Time fighting, space banditing, oxygen thieving, shamanic wild dancing requires a sweetness overload. Laughing my ass off. It's funny, you know. I had biscuits for breakfast because don't have baklava in the house, but I was actually looking at it in Woolies yesterday in the international section. They had all these packets of beautiful baklava, like that big, for $10, which weren't too expensive. I actually almost bought some. But anyway, it was, and then I met that lovely Middle Eastern man last night, Essie, with his wife. Lovely couple they were. So I guess there was the little tiny synchronicities, pulling the little threads of honey and pistachio and together. Anyway, you kind of have to laugh. It's a bit astonishing sometimes how things pan out. Here's a photo I took this morning of the very happy kookaburras come to visit me. Low battery. Are we still filming? Yes. Come to visit me in my garden. Beautiful birds. Beautiful birds. The one on the bottom was just like staring at me with it. He put his crest up and he was just like, he looked like one of those young dudes when they slick their hair up and they tease it up into like a, I don't know what you call that, bit of a buff at the top. Anyway, that's what he looked like. So I couldn't resist taking a photo of him. He's so cute. 3rd of August 2023, 8:47 a.m. I just saw this, started crying again, a ripped band-aid. My beautiful friend Jared posted a wonderful memory of Beauregard. He was a puppy, a little tiny, scrappy little puppy. Oh, bless. And Jared wrote beautifully. Thank you, Jared. Yesterday, my friend Tanya, this was a year ago, had to say goodbye to her best friend and constant companion for the past 7+ years, Beauregard, Bobo. Gone way too soon and much more than just a pet to her. He was a member of family and a great light that cannot be replaced. R.I.P. Bobo. I hope Harvey is there to keep an eye out for you like he did when you were a pup. Indeed. They were good little mates most of the time. Bobo got on Harvey's nerves because he was a puppy and Harvey would kind of pull him into line a bit, which, you know, it's part of the, you know, the pecking order, or what do you call it with dogs? Anyway, there's always an alpha dog and someone gets pulled into line. It's the same with humans too. It's not always that obvious though, who the alpha is, who the sigma is. Just saying. fighting over power games. I hate that shit. I hate it. I just turn up, do my dance, go home. But oh my God, there was some significant bonobo activity last night. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Showing their bottom. Very naughty. Anyway. Here I write because I'm still grieving my dog a year ago. It was still fresh. He'd only died 2 days prior. I don't know how to make a meme, so this is my thought for the morning. In a world of scum-sucking, death-dealing, sabotaging, cowardly, obfuscating, hateful, low-level zombie entities and other assorted vermin and their cohorts, enablers, cheer squads and flying monkeys, be a Galadriel. Never let them diminish you. If you know the reference, it's from the movie and the books, Lord of the Rings. That scene where the Queen of the Elves completely loses her shit and embraces all her power to the power of 10 and then some. Ha ha ha. That's what I want us all to be when confronted with low-level entities not worthy of the crud beneath our toes, dear goddess. Where have we gone? Where have we gone? We've lost it. Dear goddess. Dear goddess. 2:06 p.m. When I call upon the goddess, I'm calling upon the divine feminine presence of God, by the way. Don't freak out. It's nothing too bad, unless it's Lilith. But even then, she's a protector of abused women and children. So for me, it makes perfect sense when she comes and goes in and out of my energy at times. She's just making sure Mama T's loved and protected and cared for, because no one else is going to do it, am I right? Well, in the sense that I don't have a partner to love and protect and care for me. I've got beautiful friends though. Whew. Nobody better come between me and my beautiful friends, because I can see how truly heartfelt and gorgeous they all are. 2:06 p.m. Yes, Charlie. I messaged Robin and Peter and also my daughter Crystal, just to let you know that Beauregard passed away on Tuesday afternoon. I'm a complete mess. The vets were awful, and on top of it, I had to bury him by torchlight as he died at 5:05 p.m. But as we drove from the vets, there was a bright full moon on the eastern horizon, and on the western horizon, the most spectacular red orb of the sun as it was setting. It was actually just sitting perched on the horizon like it was about to melt into the earth. It was astonishing. So I thought that was very poignant and beautiful. Hugs, Mum. Crystal responded via text that she is shocked but glad there was a spiritual gateway opening for him upon his death. She's a shaman like her mother, so she understands the spiritual nature of things. Robin rang me back and we talked about the ghastly horror of it. She said both she and Peter were upset at his loss. Rati came to clean this morning and she was also distressed by his loss. He was greatly loved. I miss him terribly. It's a cold agony in my guts, but the grief will run its course in the ensuing days, weeks, months, as it naturally does, if done well. They took my dog, and when they did that, they took too much. But I still have Charley to love, indeed I do. This evening, Margot and her little girls visited. Actually, that reminds me, it's time I stopped by and visited their beautiful Labrador Rosie, or actually visited them for a change. They showered me with love and some yummy treats, also a delicious lasagna for dinner. Thanks so much, Margot. It was such a lovely surprise. Very kind of you to think about me in my time of grief. Crystal rang this evening and we had a long, lovely chat. Mind you, I didn't see her for 6 weeks after his death, but we did have contact, but anyway, she was very busy at the time, I guess. 3rd of August 2022, 11:16 p.m. Today marked my former dead progenitor's wedding anniversary, 3rd of August 1963. That can't be right. I think it was 1962 because I was born in 65 and they'd been married for 3 years. I have to check my genealogy file. I'm sure it was 62. Anyway, I've got here 63. Who cares? They're dead and they hated each other anyway. What's a year between friends? Oh, you have to laugh. But I must have it accurate or it will grind my gears. I'll go and check on that later. I'm pretty sure it was 62. Anyway, it seems Facebook is withholding large swathes of my memories, as I feel sure I've written about the significance of this date in the past. Time is erasing them and the significant traumas they inflicted on me, but now my written memories are slowly being obliterated. And you know, my family of origin are not worth my hagiographic blowing life into the dead, empty NPC and perverted husks they were or are. No, they were not worthy of that at all. Not worthy at all. Sometime in the future, I too will leave this mortal coil, and I know for certain my own descendants times 2 won't carefully maintain any memories of me. How do I know that? Anyway, does it matter? No. So my life history and stories are up in the ether, or the ones I managed to copy across to vocal media. All my oral histories I have shared with my few remaining friends, and the rest is dust floating on the wind. There will be no hagiographic edifications or much breastbeating when I die. They will only feel sweet release. Interestingly, the last daughter that was in close contact released me back in September, so I was already picking up on that vibe, babies, that I was about to be abandoned and estranged yet again. But it's okay. Strangers in the night show me the great love that really should have come from my own children, but there's no accidents in the universe that, you know, young ones are flocking to me, wanting to sit with me or dance with me or momentarily be in my energy. Everyone needs a wise one and a mother or a grandmother. Even when one's own children reject us, someone else is only too grateful and happy to have that love flow to them. It's really quite magical and mysterious, this life, the life of the Tanya. Sandwiched between 2 generations of narcopaths, the Tanya child, now wizened old hag with her whimsy and her love of and or from the gods will simply be forgotten, which I suppose is the natural order of all existences in each time continuum. To be born, to grow, to live long enough to leave a small piece of eternity behind us, then to pass on into the next dimension with, hopefully, zero regrets, as we have lived so truly, wholesomely, and courageously as to have let go of what was and to embrace what will be. In the meantime, there is always the now. So what now, my loves, now that it's over and out? A new beginning and new story, fermenting in the echoes of time, slipping sideways, pirouetting, fucking moshing. Freedom means letting go of all the contaminants, the pain, the carefully constructed and catalogued ego, the very idea of life as it was presented to us in the eternal dreaming, without all the screaming, streaming, and scheming. Shake, rattle and roll, babies. This is how I got here. Oops. I added in the oops, just for dramatic effect, you understand. 3rd of August 2021, 4:41 a.m. Back to bed I go. Bobo dragged me out of bed twice tonight so he could pee, which was okay as I needed to also. It would be nice to sleep through the night without nocturnal ablutions and interruptions to my dreaming. Gar. Mama T will return to the astral shortly. Work to do in the other dimensions. Searing pain from beneath my stomach area to upper bowel. It comes in waves like mild labour pain. I guess it's because, you gotta laugh, I ate an entire pot of semolina with pineapple chunks. Then later on, air-fried chips, 3 potatoes. I was hungry and I was trying to stave off an urge to run out into the night to the IGA to buy chocolate, chippies and other goodies. The craving to run amok was so intense that I devoured the last of my boiled lollies. I felt seriously mentally unwell today, mood disordered, anxious, kinda activated, but now the stomach area is fighting me as well. I'm lying in bed, breathing through the pain as it's ridiculous, these chronic gut issues, when even I know I should not have gone through with that colonoscopy. I knew it would set me back, but they pressured me with the threat of bowel cancer. So frankly, I don't know which is worse, dying of cancer or not ever fully living either. Rolls eyes. I contemplated taking myself back to the hospital, but I have zero trust in them. It's probably safer to just lie here and breathe through the pain. I didn't do any heavy lifting or hard work today. I sorted beads into glass jars. That was all. I listened to podcasts about mythology. I didn't even take Bobo for a walk as the weather felt bleak. Tomorrow, I need to go out to buy groceries. I could not face it today. Hopefully, I feel better soon. Then I posted an article from The Guardian. Trial to test if cannabis-based mouth spray can treat brain tumours. And I wrote, wish I had some right now. I'm struggling today. I feel severely depressed. I even made homemade yogurt as I feel the colonoscopy stripped me of good biome, and that has gifted me a serious depression. Or the fight at the hospital caused it, more likely. Either way, I'm hanging on by my teeth, literally. 3rd of August, 2020. This is a quote, a piece of prose from Rabbi Tzvi Freeman, who writes for the Lights of Kabbalah website on Facebook. Look deeply within each person you encounter. Really see them, like really look into them. Their soul is what he's talking about here. No matter how brilliant or dull, refined or crude, righteous or wicked, you judge this person to be. Beyond their clothes, beyond their skin, beyond their behaviour, beyond their words, beyond the emotions they show, the personality in which they dress, past whatever masks they don to conceal their inner woes. Look deeply and see the vicious war each one fights inside, the battle to remain human in a maddening world, a world you will never know, for no two of us are placed in the same world, and no two of us confront the same challenges. The sickness at knowing one's own failures and deficiencies, the yearning to be more, the disappointment at not being that, the struggle to fight every sorrow, every pain, every plummeting, disastrous trauma of life. True, perhaps not everyone fights every battle. Some have long surrendered. But the very fact that this person was assigned this battle tells us more than can be spoken. For the one who created him knows he has the power to prevail and win. That alone is enough to admire and to be humbled, asking yourself, do I fight a battle nearly as fierce as the one I expect this person to win? In what way am I any better? And the painting he posted with it was just an elderly man with his head in his hand, looking sorrowful. I thought that was quite beautiful too. Oh, my darlings. Magic truly does happen. Love is the law. And the gods might be crazy, but they really do have my back and my front and my sides. And sometimes when I doubt or when I succumb to anxieties and fears that are really illusory in the broad scheme of things, the gods remind me in astonishing ways of how loved and how needed I am here. And it is humbling and a little bit bizarre at times, a bit confronting at times, a bit astonishing at times. Anyway, still in 2020, I continue writing. I just realised today is my narcopathic, idiosyncratic, stereophonic, screeching progenitor's former wedding anniversary. Yuck. No wonder I feel frazzled. I can feel them clawing at me from beyond the veil. It also explains last year's haunting on this date. When will those ghastly, ghostly motherfuckers leave me alone? The Dibble are on the roof, but I will mentally paint the roof with gasoline so they can either set themselves on fire or slide off. Only fiddlers allowed on my roof, preferably ones who can actually play. I have a violin here that needs restringing, so fiddly, picious spirit could play the devil going down to Georgia and the Tanya superseding her former hell. Rise and shine, bitches. Jesus, instead of being down my own rabbit hole, now I'm immersed in other people's. The only way out of the looking glass is through. Fuck. It's getting very, very cold in here. Very cold. Opening the window might make a difference. We'll see. I feel quite chilled. 3rd of August 2019, 11:11 a.m. Another moment in the fabric of eternity, glitching and stitching and microcosmically snitching. A 7-year itch or a menopausal bitch, but shh, be angels and or dragons there. Word to the wise, don't scratch and sniff. Yesterday, 2nd of August 2019, was a very beautiful and spiritually powerful day. I spent the day knitting another fairy, having just completed one that had taken months as she got put aside. I sat in the sunshine in my sacred space garden. I gifted limes to my neighbour Timsar, who I spotted also sitting alone in his garden, meditating and looking somewhat lonely. So the limes were delivered over our mutual fence line, and we had a rather spiritual chat about allowing people to be who they are, even if they have hurt us deeply, and letting them go on their way without letting them diminish the goodness that we already embody. He said he's been reading about prisoners on death row and how some of them had been remarkably good people until they finally snapped after decades of rejection and injustice. I agreed. I said, yes, ultimately, that's what makes me snap and go somewhat berserk, is injustice and maltreatment. It's happened a few times and is utterly terrifying to those asleep at the wheel or ones who thought they could continuously abuse and debase me and get away with it. Anyway, I felt better for my kind gesture of the friendly chat, as I know how our neighbourhood judges us with their elitist smug satisfaction for our unique strangeness and our broken lives, as if the very same thing could not also happen to them, as life is the greatest teacher and equalizer, and karma is a smoking hot, angry bitch. And she often gets you unawares, laughing my ass off. Later in the afternoon, I took my Beauregard for a walk. He thoroughly enjoyed himself. Then I readied myself for ecstatic dance. The traffic was interminably, excoriatingly slow. 45 minutes to get to West End, that should only take 15 to 20 minutes. Sitting at the lights on the lane that leads to the freeway on-ramp at Marshall Road, a vehicle to the left of me kept honking his horn. I ignored it at first, listening to my radio and in a bit of a trance. Finally I look, and it's some dude gesticulating at me. What the fuck, I thought. Oh, perhaps my lights are not on, or my car is on fire? No smoke though. So I sort of panic, but roll my window down. What's your problem? He says he's in the wrong lane, so can he move in front of me when the lights change? I reply, slightly annoyed by the male entitleitis, but bemused. You are a bit cheeky, mate, but yeah, no worries. Roll my window back up. The lights go green. I give him the look to go ahead. He looks right back at me and speeds like a demon from hell in front of me and blows dust into my feminine mystique and banshee fury and enters the freeway way before me. Like it's not a racetrack, but I think he thought I was being condescending when I let him take his tooting horn and shove it up his ass and go in front, because we all get into wrong lanes. In fact, I have been careening down highways to and from hell most of my life. But I am a decent person, and just sometimes I let people in. So anyway, no one was going anywhere fast if they were traversing the city last night. I made it in time to ecstatic dance, and we had a beautiful ceremony and dance. We built an energy that was pure and positive and nurturing. A younger woman was suffering a terrible grief and cried a lot. And for contact improv, we were drawn together as our pain and shadow were the same. No fucking accidents in the universe. She broke into tears as I held my energy strongly matched against hers, and I muttered to her, "You are okay. You are safe." Sweet young woman, wanting so much to overcome her avoidance and fear of intimacy and love. How can I tell her it sometimes takes a lifetime after deep trauma, and at other times magic just happens and our deepest fears just fall away, and then we are still dealing with other mere mortals who either do not value our light or try to debase it, ergo long, long decades of despair. So I said a little prayer for a kindred soul, and I hope like hell she meets herself and finds the love she fears to share with others, that no one breaks her down and destroys her when she finally blossoms and unfurls all that magnificence she never fully embodied. I worried for her, then I let her go. I danced and cavorted and played and showed by all our fine examples of what is possible. Let grief serve its purpose, then discard it like an old worn cloak. It will come back, but we shake it off like a dog turd, warm and stinky and somehow comforting in its earthy realness. Our grief and fear are only aspects of all we are as humans, as spirits. After ecstatic dance, I went to the casino for a while. Richie was there and was delighted to see me. I told him I could not stay long, as I have already been out to ecstatic dance, and I worry about my dog needing to pee as I lock him in the house. Alter Egos were playing, which is my favourite band, and I went off again on a fourth wind. Richie said, "You don't want to go home? You love this band." I said, "I know, but I must. My doggy needs me." But I had a fabulous time and felt loved and supported and nurtured all night. A beautiful day and a magical night. Thank the gods. From ecstatic states to exhaustion, I had a long nap, 3 hours, which was good, as I was so overly exerted that I only slept 6 hours last night. The crash came quickly, but all good. My body, with its sleep apnea and still in post-operative recovery, needs its rest. It governs me now. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is still a bit weak. But by the gods, I needed that burst of happiness and body frenzy yesterday. I had missed dancing wildly and spontaneously and moving all that stagnant energy of soul and heart and mind through my body. My drained sight started to feel heavy, not painful, but definitely laboured, so I had to rest for a while on the couch and played with Milou, the lovely dog friend of Monica and Adrian. But I quickly resurged again and got in more dancing. It is interesting observing my energy flow states and letting my body inform me on how far it will let me push myself. Mustang Quay, that means wild horse woman, is definitely intrepid and has great stamina. But my wild wolf spirit languorously reminds me that I am still healing and I need to stretch out my energy like a long rubber band and slowly follow it, or it will ping me back right into face. My spirit wants to throw an epic tantrum. After all, she was cast down back to earth after that long, red last breath, akin to the red road that Native Americans talk about. That was the imagery I was shown as I was dying, by the way, which seemed to stretch out into eternity. And she, me, was almost there. But no, back we are, living this psychedelic dream in Holland Park, surrounded by love and wisdom and a few jolly good sensate beings, visible and invisible. Oh, I wrote visible and unseen. Same thing. Visible and invisible would have been more poetic since they mirror each other. But oh well, Mama T and her writing. It is what it is. Oh. And in spite of being cheated out of my potential nirvana, just thinking, might need to plug my phone. It did say battery was low, didn't it? I'm coming back, Charlie. You just stay there. Just plug us in. Don't want to lose us in the middle of the video like we had so many breakdowns yesterday. It was intense. Right. Where was I? Sorry. I don't want to blip us out, but it might blip us out anyway because it does that anyway sometimes. Where was I? Oh, and in spite of being cheated out of my potential nirvana, I am happily co-creating my own personal nirvana on this earth. I am indeed. Every day in every way, with every breath, I'm co-creating. I'm loving the ones that love me back wholeheartedly and sweetly. And I'm trying every day in every way to live my very best life. I just sat outside on the ground, and instead of epic dizzy spells that I experienced before the surgery, almost like the earth and I were out of alignment, I felt supported and nurtured. Here we go, baby girl. Yes, Bobo's in heaven. I know. Are you saying mama or Bobo? Sometimes it sounds like Bobo. Sometimes it sounds like mama. I think you're saying mama. Are you mama's girl? Are you the mama's girl? I love you. Who could have thought that one diseased organ could throw one out of sync with Gaia, who knows how to heal herself? But I no longer feel ejected like a malfunctioned cassette tape from the internal workings of a music machine. Just a bit rejected by a few of my former beloveds, but oh well, even that hurts less than in previous decades. I am rebirthing a new Tanya. If I had enough money, I would have gone travelling around the world to commune in every sacred site. As my remnant blood family had dissolved in their own narcissism, I have none left to keep me here, except for Jared and Lynn and other dear friends. Briss, Bane, Gewalt. But who can know where my happy, safe place on earth might be? It might be like Shangri-La, ephemeral and illusory, perhaps even allegorical, like my love life, ha ha ha. So I must embody Shangri-La, or a safe, happy, peaceful Brisbane inside my heart and mind. God knows I've been working at that for 31 years, try 36 years now. I must communicate with my inner man, the only one who dictates what kind of partner is safe for me, and usually rejects almost everyone except the one who is the most reluctant and often abusive, which is insane making. While my early training in manhood was utterly distorted by the kinds of men that were destructive, violent, and sexually abusive, so no great surprises that I never yet managed to choose better or different. But as I said at the beginning of this video, in the last 12 months, I've seen so much big agape, platonic, at times, romantic kind of offerings. Nothing that's landed in 3D reality, but so much sweet love has been flown to me. Universal, unconditional, compassionate, passionate, loving, sincere, all platonic. But you know what? It's been the biggest, most loving year of my life ever in my life before. Ever. And I'm still kind of in shock and awe at just the amazement of it all. And it tells me that my true, heartfelt, honouring, cherishing, loving man is imminent. It's just a matter of who and when and where that it all comes together. I don't know. But the signs the gods are showing me on a daily basis are intense and gorgeous and astonishing. So I have been forced, through no fault of my own, to choose myself and love me in all the ways that I was never loved or even received or respected before. A great and powerful love that sees through my own eyes and hears through my own ears, but knows with finely tuned, keenly won goddess, warrior senses. A blessing, but also a curse, that inner knowing that sometimes I try to push away because it's too much and I don't want to know. When things start to turn rancid or the shoe falls, sometimes I choose to be in denial. But as my friend Lynn said to me earlier, after the life you've had, Tanya, she said, you're constantly expecting and waiting for that shoe to fall, and this time, she said, it might not. It might just keep being more wonderful and more wonderful and more wonderful and grow into something truly honouring and cherishing and beautiful and heart-centered and gracious and just amazing this time. Ah, isn't she gorgeous? My friend of 36 years, cheering me on, wanting me at long last to have the big, big, authentic love of my life. She really is gorgeous. I love you, Lynn. I love you for always being there for me. There were times that I was immersed in such abject horror and darkness. I was barely there for myself, so I was hard fucking yakka. Hard going indeed. But I continue writing. But in the long, stretchy timeline, in this space, even curses can become blessings. You simply outlive it and outgrow it. The things and people that shoved me down or pushed me away lose their power or even hold on your heart when you realize how little human time is left and that the work is needing completion. But you came too late to the party of consciousness, so all you can do is pray and play and hope one day that everything that was you was somehow a guidance or an inspiration to those still barely breathing and barely waking up. In the naked, sanctified light of our awareness, we fear immolation, but that is nothing to fear. The fear for me is to have walked this earth without ever effecting positive change or being seen and heard, of being of no more consequence than the dust between my toes, the dust of ancestors recombined and reconfigured, still walking this earth in my hair, on my skin, under my fingernails, and being expelled on every breath. Everything is connected. Everyone matters, especially the eternally, infernally heartbroken ones who were never made to feel, who were made to feel devalued as we never quite made it. Well, fuck that shit. Spiritual activity chez moi. That means it's French for at my place. A container of screws and washers just mysteriously crashed into the laundry tub, fell by itself. No reason for it to fall off the shelf. The dog and I got a bit of a fright, but I just put everything back. On Thursday, the linen cupboard doors slammed shut just as I was walking past. Again, the dog reacted. Those doors hardly ever closed properly, so I must admit it had me a bit confused. So, undeadable stalkers are visiting again, but it's all right. I ain't afraid of no ghost. It's the living that terrorise me, laughing my ass off. I do wonder what they are hanging around for. I mean, what is their message? I posted an article from abc.net.au. Let's change the ending. Red park benches hold simple message to call out domestic violence. And I wrote 3 strangulations and all I got was a red bench. What the fuck? But seriously, it's nice to see community awareness starting to blossom. Maybe do something about the actual domestic violence though, especially Queensland Police, bloodless curs, and the courts. I hear it's improved in recent years. Well, there was no support for me and my children in 1998 to 2001. Actually, no, it was 1997 to 2001. You bloodless, lazy, woman-hating, children-hating dogs. Even more sanguinely deficient. Doctors who are not psychopaths would be survivor-friendly too. But yeah, if I see a red bench, I will sit on it like défense. And if anyone asks for my story, they will get it. Oh, dear goddess. I've never actually seen those red benches around Brisbane. It must be in another state. Never seen them once. Anyway, it's all lip service. 54 women killed already this year. I mean, it's just disgraceful and evil and astonishing. 11:11 p.m. Lots of synchronicities, but I stayed home tonight, too tired to leap about another night. Bobo was grateful to have me beside him, snuggling next to the heater. 3rd of August 2018. So I was right, here it is. Today in 1962. So it was a typo earlier. 1962 they got married, those two fucking useless harridans. The sex must have been good though. I think my mother once told me the sex was good. It was too much information, but it made me feel a bit better about my arrival on this planet, that at least it was, the creating of me, that my soul descended into that cell membranes was at least joyful, orgasmic, pleasurable. I actually think they must have consummated me on their wedding anniversary, because I was born on the 12th of April 1965. Their wedding anniversary is the 3rd of August. And I was born early by caesarean section because my mother had very bad toxemia. So you do the math, 8 months later, I arrive. Technically, I suppose I should have been born sometime in May, but they couldn't wait one more minute. They sliced me out of my mother at 9:36 p.m. on the 12th of April, and my sister, half-sister, whose birthday's the next day on the 13th, begged them to wait, another, 2.5 hours, so we could share the same birthday. But my mother's obstetrician, Dr. Smith, who later delivered my daughter Crystal, and by then his name was Mr. Smith, wouldn't wait. He said, no, we can't wait another moment. The baby's in distress, and there's too much toxemia, and your mother's been in and out of labour for 7 days, and we can't wait any longer. That one of them will die. So I got whisked out a month early. So it's kind of astonishing that on the 3rd of August, which was last night, clicked over at midnight, I was having the most wonderful time with people in the club and surrounded by so much love. And and as I wrote here earlier, when I'm going to get rid of that fucking albatross of both my rotten evil parents. So that's another sign that tells me they've finally relinquished their hold over me. They've finally moved on into the other dimensions. They're no longer pulling on my energy and clawing at me and torturing me, which they did. My mother managed to do that for quite some years after her death, including with that evil will dispute for 2.5 years, but then she still was clawing at me for a few more years. I think that's partly why I had all those really shitty, evil, casual flings with really shitty, evil men that were just insincere and out to use and abuse. It was my mother. I wasn't fucking them. My mother was using me like a real dibbook. I actually believe that. I know that sounds batshit crazy, but it was like after a while, when her energy finally left me around about 2019, when I got rid of her fucking couch, mind you, I had already tamped down my sexuality since 2015, so she couldn't feed or use that as a conduit anymore. I wasn't bringing men home. I wasn't having casual love making with randoms. Not that I did it that often. It wasn't that bad, but you know, she couldn't access. She couldn't feed like a fucking vampire via my sexuality anymore. And here it is. I've been now asexual celibate for 9 years, since 2015, that now finally everything's starting to blossom exponentially and unfurl like a 1,000-petaled lotus, because by tamping down my sexuality and denying her an opportunity to feed off me like a dubbook, like a fucking vampiric leech, she eventually lost her hold over me and she's gone. Thank you to all the gods. And it means that the man that I invite into my body next time, if I ever invite a man into my body ever again, will be the one, untainted, untrammeled, uncontaminated by anything psycho-spiritual, former attachments from my family, filthy, treacherous, dead family of origin. It's that fucking terrifying and that potent, my regaining my own power, by the way. And I know I regained my own power when my beautiful friend Scott from Alter Ego said to me a few months, "I love your power." And I just sort of stared at him in shock and nodded. I hadn't realised that it was being witnessed by other people, my carefully nurtured and curated and re-blossomed out, rediscovered spiritual power. So thank you to Scott for seeing me and expressing that to me, because even a few months ago I was still kind of in denial about where I'm at right now in the space-time continuum in 3D reality on planet Earth. I hadn't realised that I had finally, at long last, become. It's been a long, hard, grueling, tortuous, traumatic, grinding journey, and I'm here. I've still got 6 to 12 months of struggling to get used to CPAP, to get my health in full vibrancy again. But spiritually and mentally and emotionally, I'm here, babies. I'm here. Just got a little bit of catch up to do. Get the old body to come into perfect alignment with the rest of us. But I'm here. And I'm so grateful to my friends in the bands and my friends out in the music scene and my close intimate friends Jared and Lynn and, you know, Sally Castle in New Zealand and Margaret Jakovac and Lynn Rock, all the people who contributed since very early childhood to my becoming. You're all part of who I am today. And I verily, and my doctor, my psychiatrist, I verily could not be this person alive today, doing this well, even though I struggle at times still, without you. I love you so very, very much. You can't quantify how much I love you all. And if the time comes one day when I don't wake up, or, I finally pop my proverbial non-Dutch clogs, you can take that love and you can bank on it till one day we meet again, because I will never relinquish the love I'm gifting to you in the eternal now, babies. Seriously, I know I sound a bit high and a bit weird, but those of you who know me well know it's heartfelt and genuine and well meant and well met and kismet, by the way. I know my mind rambles and I get poetic, but it's part of my charm too. Anyway, continue reading. We were up to 2018. Today in 1962 was my parents' marriage to each other in a registry office. My mother bought her own ring and had it engraved, sweet, for a day. Then hell to pay. Inculcated, narcopathic, hellion, hells. Along came the Tanya. My half-sister informed me they were very happy until they fell pregnant with me. I bet that is true, and not just her own vicious, viscous sibling rivalry. Mind you, we had different fathers, so the sibling rivalry really only extended to our mother having once shared her uterus at 15 years apart, quite different times. Different experiences of my mother's negligence and abuse too. Apparently, she was a way worse mother to my half-sister than she even was to me, which is astonishing. It's very hard for me to wrap my mind around, but I'm sure her truth is her truth, and I allow her her reality. Along came Tanya and life as we knew it. Along came someone they were unable to kill, but they kept trying anyway. I say this with some bemusement. The killing of my child's innocence and my adult woman's life force and reputation, honour and soul took 47 years. They would be killing me still, but for the grave of natural attrition. Ha ha ha, motherfuckers. Anyway, in spite of their derelictions of duty of care for the vulnerable in their household, I have supersede my own expectations by outliving almost all of them. My one blessing, they had me very late in life. So I got to thinking about the fucks that were given and the grand passions that were made, the empty promises and the penile devotions of my father. I enter August with my usual consternation and August trepidation for having been conceived in this month. I have become aware of a life pattern of beginning love affairs at this time of year also, especially around the 28th of August. You'll find me always lying very low around the 28th of August because of that repeat pattern. It's how I ended up with my ex-husband, by the way. Blame it on spring or cosmic conscious paradigmical alliances and alignments. Blame it on hormones or a sad woman's faith and love for love's own sake. So I will be more avoidant than usual and more resplendent in the power of my personal womanhood because as much as I yearn for a love that is true and kind and nurturing and loyal, I know I need an equal in all things. I have to be patient and guard my heart and loins. Lovers come and go, but real love stays and plays and sanctifies and edifies the goddess within. It blossoms exponentially, leaving peace and beauty and happiness in its wake. Yes, it does, babies. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, you little demon bird. You little demon birdie. I love you so much, demon birdie. But you really are a shitty poo bum. A shitty poo bum is what you are. She doesn't care, does she? She's quite happy. You've had the release and the relief. Oh, Mama wanted to look pretty today, Charlie. My Deify t-shirt. Oh, well. Are you a worthy sidekick to the mama too? Mama. That was definitely Mama that time. Kissy, kissy. Kiss. We got serenaded by that beautiful butcher bird yesterday, didn't we? I know, it was just gorgeous. Mama was whistling to her and she was singing back. Where was I? Sorry, people of Earth. I've gone floating around in psychedelic dreamer's brain. Where was I? Have to be patient and guard my heart. Oh yeah, I know I need an equal in all things. I know I read that. We're down further. Real love stays and plays and sanctifies and edifies the goddess within. It blossoms exponentially, leaving peace and beauty and happiness in its wake. Yes, I already read that too, I realise. We're losing her. Call me back home, calling back home, psychedelic dreamer, we're losing. Breaker, we're going down. No, I'm here. I'm drifting a little bit, getting tired. But I am only the psychedelic dreamer, the banshee wailing screamer, the love maker, and the end stage byproduct of their broken-hearted schemes. It's true, Charlie. It's all true too. Shake it off and slap her down and spit her out. Get that for me, Deirdre. Back to work, grasping endlessly for more and more. Insatiable greed, ultimately signifying nothing. My mother's insatiable greed got her nowhere and nothing in the end. Married to a fucking con man. It's kind of funny in a way when you think about it. She is rich in spirit and a fool's gold. Diamonds on the soles of her feet. Ochre where her blood drained free. Pearls before swine. Experiencing the divine. Love me or hate me. It's all illusion, baby. That last paragraph refers to me, not my mother. Just saying. here I shared a, oh, this is quite clever, a meme posted by Janice Ian, the folk singer, in 2013. There is no such thing as writer's block. That was invented by people in California who couldn't write. Terry Pratchett, and her little meme says, the muse most of us really need. Write the bleep story with a gun to his head. It's a bit like that. It's a bit like that. Not that I'm a published author or anything, but I get the vibe. Mama gets the vibe, doesn't she? Yes. Here I wrote, note to self, living the story, being the story, telling the story, and knowing the story in every fibre of your beingness. Written on the stars, on the lines of my hands, on my wrinkles, on my whimsical smile and calamitous frown, on my tempestuous passion, and my Boadicea like warrior goddess triumph. Size. Getting there. Yes, beautiful girl. We're getting there, aren't we? Yes, we are. We are getting there, sweet baby girl. So what year was that? Let me just recalibrate. 2018. August 3rd, 2017. I bathed that stinky mutt. He now looks gloriously clean and pleasant, the Beauregard. He did not at all appreciate the bathies, but vaguely tolerated his brushing out, mainly as he had a bone to gnaw on while I brushed him. Before Charley laid her first egg in December 2020, so I realised she was female. I wrote here, he is singing happily as he is closer to the mama and can poop in my hair. I hate that when she does that. Also, other lorikeets are